We're live. Dario's having a life. He's having a life moment where he can hear his mouth talking to him.
That's weird when you can hear your own voice and you realize how much of an idiot you sound like.
I was listening to this. Do you know why?
Yes.
It sounds different listening to yourself than when you talk.
Because we don't hear the vibration of our own voice.
Right. That's partly true.
Us.
Because the vibration of your voice actually vibrates on the bones in your body, so your voice sounds different to you inside of you because your bones vibrate.
But you're used to it.
You're used to it.
So it may not be exactly what everybody else hears, but you're used to your own voice.
And when you hear it through a mic and headsets, it doesn't have that same internal bone vibration. Because you know, in the military, when they have those throat mics, a lot of that works off vibration of your from your vocal cords. It just picks up the vibrations. You're actually not talking into it, so it transmits the sound through the vibration. So it just sounds different. Or
like
to
a
hear
cochlear implant.
Right.
It sounds nasty. Don't think that way.
Whoa. A life-saving device. How dare you corrupt the life-saving device? Dude,
I'll never look at a hearing aid again the same way.
I'm strangely aroused.
Is that a cochlear device that I see in your ear? Would you like to wear one?
I'll give you a cochlear device. So we're live.
Oh,
dude.
Boy. Let's redo.
It's been a couple of weeks, because I went out of town. I went on a short little out of town trip.
How many miles was that?
It was about 17,000 miles.
17,000?
That's not a short trip.
1,700. 107,000.
1,700.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a short.
Oh, wait, let me do a fact check.
I did look it up. Colombia is about 600 miles less than Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
It's like 600 miles less than Hawaii in distance from us.
Wow.
It's not that far. Plane ticket costs the same amount of Juarez.
What a deal. Think about that. The flights from Juarez, just going down to El Paso, across the bridge, and you get it's a third of the price.
Right. God bless Mexico. You got to love them Mexicans. And God bless Aeromexico.
Yeah.
The airlines, Aeromexico. Mm-hmm. You're flying on one of the big ones, one of those 700 Max.
Oh,
the big ones.
Modern.
Yeah. TVs. Like really comfortable.
Plugins for
I had the what do you call it? A poor man's first class. You know what a poor man's first class is?
Econo Plus.
Econo Plus. No, poor man first class is when you sit by the emergency exits and you get like way more leg room. That's a poor man's first class. So I had poor man's first class. Then they come down. They give you coffee.
They
coffee.
They give you a hearing aid device.
Well, first of all, let me just throw this out there. Flight attendants in other countries are freaking gorgeous.
They all look like they're like
models,
17-year-olds.
Oh my, they're beautiful. They give you like the little pack. They don't give you pretzels. They give you packets of fresh nuts, and then like these little galletas.
You keep my mind keeps deviating.
That cochlear implant in your ear. Then they ask you Coke, water, and all this stuff. So I get coffee, and then they have like bottles of tequila. I was like, "Can I get some tequila?" And I'm pulling out my credit card. They pour you tequila. I'm like, "Okay, can I have it?" I'm like, "Oh my god, they just give you tequila."
The only for the emergency exit row. Everybody else pays their own way. I was going to ask. I wonder if they actually serve. If there's something against being served in the emergency exit row. Can you imagine? Like that's the dry.
That's why,
folks. No one would ever want to sit there.
Nobody would want this phone.
Hey, I had an amazing time.
On the flight?
Yeah. I mean, well, I start talking to people on the flight, and I meet some interesting people.
Yeah.
This guy, and he's sitting next to another guy. It's like, "Is that your brother, or your father, or whoever it is?" He goes, "No, that's my partner." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm a lawyer in Juarez." I was like, "Oh, very cool." And it's like, "Where do you recommend you go?" And he goes, "You got to see all the big cities." Mexico. He goes, "You go to Mexico, see all the big cities. Go to Ciudad Mexico. Go to Oaxaca, Monterrey." He goes, "You got to see them all."
Hermosillo.
Then he says, and I said, "What's your favorite city in Mexico that you would say somebody has to go see?" and he says there's a little town. He says he just loved it. It was called
Chilpancingo.
Taxco or something like that.
Tasco.
Tasco.
You know, it's a silver mines of. So the Spanish had mines of silver in Tasco, and you may even see a lot of the Mexican arts and crafts that are made out of silver, the 925 or whatever the number that they put on there to denote the purity. A lot of it is made from Tasco.
I'm looking at my notes.
And it has cobblestone roads. They converted a lot of the tunnels into caves into tunnels in the mines.
It was just
cars.
Super interesting.
That's cool. That
It
is
won't
very
fit
cool.
an RV, but you know,
Darn.
a Mexican taxi bug would go through.
It's like a clown car. Like 100 Mexicans pop out.
You know, another city is Guanajuato. That's a beautiful
He said
city.
Guanajuato's worth going to see also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taxco. That's what he said. Taxco
Taxco.
Guerrero. He says, look it up. He says it's
very
it's
colonial.
He says
Very
beautiful, small town.
Yes.
It's just for some
Wow.
reason.
And Guanajuato. I think those are the two. Now there's the Ruta Maya. There's a beautiful. Merida is beautiful too. If you
Yeah.
ever get to Merida.
You know, it's like too bad what's going on in Mexico.
Yeah.
Violence, drug wars, and all that.
It's hard to get from one place to the other
Right.
and not get.
Because it has
You might
so
get
much to
shaken
offer.
down.
Yeah.
It just has so much to offer. So many places to see. People are friendly. Beautiful women. Good food.
Mm-hmm.
Tequila everywhere. You know, it's like an escape from reality, and it's just right there.
I know.
But you can't because it's so violent right now. You know what I mean? It's a shame.
It's the randomness of violence.
The
is-
randomness of it.
Whereas you can go to like certain cities and feel relatively safe, just as long as you don't get into the wrong.
The wrong crowd and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. So you know, I came back with a fire in me. That Latin American fire in me.
That
Now
was
you wanna
something
go back.
ate.
I do want to go back, but that's why I got this tequila. I was like, I need something that represents like the spirit in me, and I saw that tequila, and I was like, it just called to me. It's
So when you got back, you didn't have this level of energy when he got.
you
back.
know,
Well,
okay,
he was jet lagged too.
No, it wasn't jet
you-
lag.
Maybe
What
you were.
was it?
You were just like you were. I think shell shocked.
I was. My hat.
I saw you.
My Alex, the guy I work with, he was
Yeah.
telling me, he goes, you haven't been you in like 2 days. And my head was so in the clouds. I was like, I was so in love with South America, with Colombia.
Right.
It was like, I was just taken by all of it. How beautiful it was, how cool the people were.
The garden in the clouds.
Everything, the garden in the clouds. And so it was like, you're there in the morning and you're here in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Drop of the hat, you're back.
There's no transition time. It's not like you
Right.
went through. You drove through.
Panama,
each-
Honduras, all that. You
Crossing,
like
yeah.
you kind of get closer. No, it's like you're in a magical place, and then
you
the
go
flip
through
of the switch,
The closet.
you go through the
The
closet.
back in the back. What was that movie with the
Yeah,
where the kids go through
the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe.
Witch of the wardrobe.
and I was back. Like, even when I was driving back, and like I said, I talked to you guys, and I just couldn't shake it. I had my head in the cloud the whole time. So I was just like that feeling that I had when I was there. It just stayed with me. I was like, did I really just have this trip?
Yeah.
And it was a short trip, but that's me because I get bored fast. You know what I mean? But I saw a lot of stuff, did a lot of stuff, and I just still had it in me. And I was like, I was just in awe of that different world, different people, different everything. But it was just the only way I could say it. It was just beautiful.
See, that's positive. I mean, you could have had a different experience and then said, I don't ever want to do that again.
Well, I told you what was going on in Medellin, right? Like
Oh.
I was there with a friend in Medellin, and she says, well, we can't go to the park. Why not? Because
they were protesting.
there was a cocaine narco person that was the Colombian government had arrested, and they're gonna extradite him to United States, and the Colombians were protesting that they didn't want him extradited. He goes, "You better not go there." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
Yeah, I remember you said that.
They're just tired of sending all their narco guys to the United States to go to prison.
It used to be where I remember my dad telling me whenever he'd go to a new city in Latin America, the first thing he would do would go get his shoe shine at the plaza.
Yeah.
And then he'd get the version of El Mercurio or the newspaper or whatever it was. And then, but he'd also ask, because he was a sociologist. And so he would ask and kind of talk to different people about what's going on. And then he'd have his cafecito. And
I had that opportunity. So I had some Venezuelan friends come up to Colombia. And my friend's father was there. And so...
What did they talk about? What was important to them?
Just being there together.
Okay. Did they talk about the economy?
I asked.
Yeah.
So when he was talking, he was just talking about like, oh yeah, it's the way it is, and we all just hang out, and it's very beautiful, and the food and the people are good, and he just kind of gave me like the sense of like, everything has its place here, and it's a good place, and da da da, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And so I started asking about Venezuela, and he's like, yeah, he's like, well, I'm going to work on my getting political asylum in the United States because I was he said he worked in the oil companies, and the oil companies were nationalized. They lost their jobs, so he could qualify for political asylum.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, he's just saying, oh, the government has tons of money. So President Madero,
yes.
This guy was a bus driver. Now he's like one of the top 5 wealthiest people in Venezuela.
Yeah,
and he's like
socialist.
He's getting so much money, and he says, but people on the streets, they have nothing to eat.
It's kind of like what's happening with the Russian, the inner circle of Putin. They all had these massive.
The oligarchs.
Yeah, they had massive boats and ships that just made their money off of.
They're all asking, is Putin the richest guy in the world? Because they really don't know. Hey.
Salud.
Yo,
salud. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's what it's about, having drinks with friends, right?
Yes.
I don't know. That seemed like
I love this.
You were here. You were gone. We were worried about the dog. We wanted to drink all your
tequila.
You guys didn't know if I was going to come back with a kidney or two.
Well, he did send us, hey guys, I'm here at this spot. So we saved it in Google Maps so we could send the search party at some point.
Just in case he wasn't going to come back. We're like, well, it was good knowing him.
I saved the spot and I labeled it last known address. Mark Castillo.
So one of the big takeaways for me, travel over the United States, right? We live in the Southwest. It's easy for us to get to like Texas, Arizona,
right.
Colorado, even California's not that far for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether you're driving or flying, not a big deal. The biggest thing for me was like how small the world was because it was very affordable and you're there.
Right. Fast. It's going to take me more to drive to Minnesota than it took you to even
flight time was only like
pack
5
your
6
suitcase
hours.
and go to the airport.
It was how long? 5
or 6 hours tops flight time.
That was it?
Yeah, I mean, now there was layovers in Mexico City.
Yeah, but still, combined, that's still
I tell you what, when I got to Mexico City, I go, Mexico City smells like tacos. I was like, what? Like this can't be. And I felt like
I have to leave the food court.
I felt like there was going to be like mariachis dancing, yeah, and of course they weren't. But then I walk by the gift shop and there's like just a bunch of sombreros, mariachi sombreros. I'm like, I'm home.
This is Las Cruces.
I was almost thinking to myself like, I could just stay here in Mexico City and go, call somebody up and go hang out.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's this app called. Now that I have to think about it, Skip Lagged or something like that. That you enter the destination, you enter the departure and destination,
right?
And it won't go like with one airline, one way.
It kind of puts it together for you.
It puts you together. But let's say if it's cheaper to fly en route to another destination, you can't fly with any suitcases because if you can book it.
Yeah,
you get off at the where you want to get off,
right?
Instead of the actual end destination,
right?
And you save half price.
There's another one called Hopper,
yeah,
and it does the same thing. So it puts together the air flights for you. So you can't, like I say, you can't book your luggage because
right. Because it's going to go to the where you actually checked in.
Right.
So you need to just do a carry-on.
Right.
Yes.
That's not bad though.
I use Cheapo, and about 9 times out of 10, I get plane tickets really cheap on Cheapo compared to like going straight to Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Now that I think about it, I did that. I'm supposed to go to Vegas this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder. The only downside is I wonder who do I call to get if I cancel the flight.
So, well, okay, with cheapo, I actually was trying to change my airline's flight time to go earlier.
Yeah.
And I was able to talk to somebody, and he was researching it for me.
Okay.
But it was too late on Thursday. I was like, can I leave right now? He's like, no, they're all booked and da-da-da. But they actually, like, that one cheapo actually had somebody.
So, but let's say you do cheapo, you do skip lag, whatever it is. You can pick an option that actually has you arrive, and then you leave the next day.
Right.
So you could basically have a 24-hour layover. Like if I was trying to go to Minnesota, for example, I was doing
Minnesota.
It got me through Vegas.
Right.
Like at 6:00 flight to Vegas, and then the departing component left tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Right.
And if you wanted to do that to,
Yeah.
let's say, Colombia, you could have done it where you fly to Mexico City, you had a 24-hour layover,
Right.
and then get on the next flight and continue on.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and if there's like an overarching message,
Lesson learned.
is like you can do it.
Yeah.
It's anything's possible. Like it was that easy.
Okay, however, how easy would it have been for somebody that didn't speak Spanish?
It wouldn't have been that hard. Like a lot of people
Were
spoke
there
English.
gate changes, and there were the things that, crap, I'm glad I know Spanish.
There's the monitors that have all your flights and all the airlines, the plane numbers and everything. That was universal
in English.
in
Or
English,
just-
or like because it said in English and Spanish, like arrival, departures.
Okay, that's
so if you went by that, and then enough people spoke English, even the grumpy ass immigration guy in Colombia. And
He spoke English too?
yeah, because he asked me in English. He goes, "Do you speak English?"
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, no, do you speak Spanish? I go, pues sí, yes.
Parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français? Oui, oui, oui. No, you could, like, after his 12-hour shift with his thick Mexican accent, and he just shoots me the look of death, and he's like, what are you doing here? And it was just so funny because
What are you doing here?
they don't have home health in Colombia.
How do you explain that?
So because they ask you, what do you do?
Casero.
Right, they ask you, what do you do? Like, because they have to do
Isn't
all that
that
for
the name
immigration.
of the company?
It is the name of a company, Cuidado Casero. But he was asking, ¿qué haces? ¿Qué es tu profesión? ¿Qué haces? I go, salud. He goes, ¿qué haces tú? And I was like,
it's just too early to start drinking. Senor.
I do.
Salud.
I'm in
Let's
health.
pour later.
Salud.
And I suppose that's not uncommon. I mean, every government's going to have a sort of program or no program that exists. I mean, it's not probably as common as we think.
Right. So, but like I say, but again, the takeaway for me is like super easy.
Yeah.
Like I was looking up flights to Costa Rica earlier today, or was it yesterday? I was like, all right, it's about $400 to a round trip ticket to Costa Rica.
That's not bad.
I was like, that's another 4 or 5 day trip I could just leave on a Friday, come back on Tuesday, and go surfing in Costa Rica. And for granted, the further you go
Be
past
careful with
Colombia,
the surfing.
dangerous, rocky, rough.
There's some tides there that
Rip
will
tides.
just- yeah.
Yeah.
I almost drowned in Costa Rica.
But you're a stronger man for it now. You made it.
I was hoping-
The ocean couldn't take that in.
Swimming, surfing, scuba diving.
I did
I was-
look up skydiving. There's skydiving in Bogota.
Could
I was
you,
enjoying the water, Jeanette. Let me just put it that way.
It's when you're just enjoying it when it catches you off guard, and you're like,
So the truth is that I was holding my two sons in my arms.
Oh.
And we were bobbing up in the water.
that'll
bobbing. Then
get
the
you.
waves-
The
But
kids.
each time the wave came in,
Uh-huh.
it pulled me out another foot.
Yeah,
And to a certain extent, I mean, I was trying to get back in,
yeah.
jumping, bouncing off the bottom. And I finally had to. I was thinking, okay, which one do I? No, I'm just kidding. Which one do I sit? Which one
It's
do
like
I step
look
on?
at children. It's like the 1800s. You have to be a man now. Start swimming.
Here.
Like it's a bear attack. What are you gonna do, son?
So I before I got too far, I waved down a
Lifeguard.
surfer.
I
on his
was
board
gonna say
before he left,
a Cuban rafting across the Caribbean.
No, there was I said, hey, can we catch a ride in with you? And it was going to be,
if he said no, we are hitching a ride in with you.
Wow. So when I got back, I put gas in. Gas was at $4.05 a gallon. You know how much it was yesterday?
$4.29.
I think $4.29, $4.30.
What's going on with that?
What is up? And so then I started looking up the historical data of gasoline. You know what? Last time gas was over $4 a gallon?
When?
2008. July of 2008, it was like
The recession.
$4. Yes, the market crashed. It was like four something, like 408, 410.
I wonder if there's a correlation. Can we maybe look at the correlation between recent market recessions?
I'm sure there is, but they're also saying that the current federal administration canceled Alaskan contracts
So they're not flooding the market with
oil.
new oil.
No, they canceled the pipeline. They've canceled. They say there's a lot of what do you call it, contracts or licenses? What do you to go drill? Available, but they're in places where there's no oil. We're not getting the shale oil no more, and then they canceled some in Alaska now, also in Anwar.
What's the idea? Why do they want to go?
They want to force us to go green, which is a noble idea, but the technology is not there yet. You can't. It's like you have to do incrementally. You can't just shut off the tap if you don't have something pouring in, right?
Biden didn't even recognize Tesla when they were trying to talk about going green, and he was welcoming all the other automakers.
All the companies that were listed as the most green companies in the United States, Tesla was even listed as one of the top 10.
Well, it got kicked out of the stock exchange.
Yeah.
Not the stock exchange, but off of the green component of the stock exchange.
Can you say retaliation? Do you know Elon Musk? He changed political affiliations. He's no longer Democratic. He's a Republican now.
Yeah, he said that he was going to vote Republican because of some.
Right, because he says something about the Democratic liberal agenda doesn't correlate.
That's related to his Twitter stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's like the whole 1984. I mean, can you imagine Biden?
So Biden's enacting
a czar of truth or something like that.
Biden's doing something related to getting baby formula created.
The National Defense Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why doesn't he do the National Defense Act to get the oil, freed into the market? He should be meeting, instead of meeting with enemies, and he should be meeting with the oil companies to say, you guys are raking in these profits. Your costs aren't going up. You're not affected by what's going on in Ukraine.
But it's not even that, though. If we have a lot of oil here, and like there's a lot of oil, then suddenly he's saying, you can't drill there anymore. You're starting to turn off the taps everywhere. So it's
supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
But I don't think it's supply and demand. I think we have plenty of supply. Even if they shut down whatever they're shutting down,
right?
We have so much supply. It's the oil companies, I think, are using the excuse of the war in Ukraine to justify increasing the price.
I don't think that's an excuse. I don't think they're using an excuse. I think they're using what's going on in here in America. I think there's so much craziness going on with the federal government that's.
But why? Well, how does that affect the supply?
And we don't have a POTUS, a president of the United States, that's strong enough to tell people to cut their crap out.
Somebody should tell the oil companies to cut their crap out and not be raising.
Yeah.
They're making It's just like when there's a hurricane and the 7-Eleven starts charging $20 for a bottle of water.
Right.
I mean, the government will come in, sweep in, and then fine the company and everything else.
I had a funny realization. Funny that you say bottle of water. So I do my side hustle, right? Mm-hmm. Go do my deliveries. I go pick up groceries and deliver them, all that. And it seems like over the last couple of weeks, I get all these cases of water. And it's very annoying. I got the big old 24, got like 324 packs of water and take them everywhere and all that.
People are hoarding again?
No, it's not so much that people are hoarding. Go to Colombia and all that, and you hear people they have water problems. Not enough water pressure. The government shuts the water off and all that stuff. Come back here and you look at the big picture, plastic and all that stuff. The United States has the cleanest water supply in the whole world.
Yeah,
and yet, and we talk about how bad plastic is to the environment. why are people buying 10 cases of water and they use like bottled water for all their cooking needs, for all their...
Are you kidding me? They use bottled water for cooking?
There's people... I've picked up case... I mean...
They can get filters.
Buy a filter.
Put
a filter on your tap. One of those little pure filters,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
That's crazy.
It's crazy that... Like, just recently, it's just really dawning on me, like how much does the average person spend on a bottle of water? How much plastic from the bottle of water? And do we really need it?
You know, I think Mark actually opened up a whole other avenue that we got to keep track of. If you see a change in purchasing habits by the American consumer,
Yeah.
that if people start ordering a lot of toilet paper or ordering a lot of canned foods, a lot of water bottles, you know.
I haven't seen it yet. So during COVID, when I started doing deliveries, and which turned out to be very profitable for me, I almost did not go back into the workforce because I was just doing that. I was enjoying working by myself, nobody to bother me. It was just, I just remember thinking, I was like,
your own thoughts, driving around,
right? Like, just I didn't want to work today. Turn my app off, whatever. But it was curious. What you looking for, bud?
There must have been a hole in my drink.
What happened to it?
What happened to the other one?
He had a hole in his drink.
I gave him 2.
He lost one.
He lost one. How is that?
Here, give him one of those up there, Jeanette. but it kind of
Oh, here it is. Never mind. It's here with your little
wizard.
The little wizard. What do you call it?
I have Cipriano. So during COVID when I was doing deliveries.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Stay thirsty.
That
sounded beautiful.
It's a little Vizzy for everyone.
So there was one thing I noticed, like people ordering like cases of.
Hold on,
water,
let's think.
toilet paper,
No.
pasta.
Nope.
It's probably not even something that
Give me a
useful.
little pita bread while you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Cases of...
What would you think people would?
What do you think people are needing? Like, it's COVID. People are fearing like
alcohol,
they're fearing the zombie uprising.
Oh, I went through that. I think we all went through that.
Yeah.
I thought that the bars were going to close, so I took off.
Jeanette was hoarding on...
I took off looking
liquor?
for... Yeah, I hoarded liquor.
She was hoarding
wine,
on lubricant
beer,
and freaking Twinkies.
Twinkies are gross.
Tequila.
Oh, you
hey,
know
boy.
what?
Twinkies are gross.
I bet you it was like liquor. Something.
No.
No?
It was female...
Tampons?
yes.
Hygiene
I
products.
was feminine hygiene products. I would go to somebody's house and I would have like 6 packs like this that had like 100 like tampons, 100 maxi pads. And I was like, is that like a household of women here? Maybe I should ask them to deliver on the inside so I can meet them all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one little lady comes to the door and it's like,
Target-rich environment for Mark.
I know, right? But that's one thing I noticed that was being hoarded.
Makes sense.
More than a TP. And I was like, I kind of wanted to ask them, like, excuse me, ma'am, are you expecting the Great Flood? Like, I was like, is Noah going to come part the Red Sea?
Wow,
like, what's going to happen?
Woman,
is on flow and her
as
sister's
a woman,
showing up?
like, I didn't even think to do that, and I should have. But I didn't even think to do that. I was so concerned about a vodka shortage.
Jeanette's like, I got paper towels. I'll just roll that shit up.
Now you must be worried about vodka. Is there anything going on with Ukraine where we're not getting
Dude,
a regular supply?
It's day 83 of the Russian invasion. Do you remember us talking about it?
Vodka's still cheap. I bought vodka today for $11.
Well, the market crashed because nobody was buying vodka for a while.
It's cheap now.
It's dirt cheap now.
So, okay, yeah, the market is crashing. What the hell? Gas is through the
Going
roof.
up.
Market is crashing. Is there any reason behind any of this?
There isn't.
There's because the consumers...
You know what it is? Let's think about it this way. If we were in a company and the company was doing bad, we would say it's bad management. Right?
So
well, government is like business.
It's bad management
it's bad business.
Because you could talk as crazy as you want about Trump, that he was a nutbag, and he was.
Ooh, that's
I mean,
good.
one thing about Trump that
Good.
I will never deny about Trump when it came to him and Twitter, him in the media, Twitter,
I love it.
the guy was all Hollywood, and he had a big mouth.
Barely nor.
Yeah. He was
Yes,
like big,
yes.
yeah.
I agree completely.
But the economy was doing good though.
Well, he was
about
ballsy.
the
I'll give
economy.
him that. He wasn't afraid to piss people off. And I think sometimes you just need to have that ballsiness, or you don't want to always be liked.
Do you get ballsy, Jeanette?
Sometimes I get ballsy.
When you wake up in the morning, are you ballsy, or is there like a ballsiness present about you?
Well, sometimes I like to express my BDE. So yeah, maybe I'm the one who's ballsy.
Okay.
Did you hear about the another stimulus check that just came
I
out?
got mine
That's a
today.
state. No, that's a
That's
state
a
of New
state
Mexico.
one.
State? What's that all
State
about?
of New Mexico is giving
tough.
all
Offset.
constituents in New Mexico a $500 gas check.
500. I only got
serious?
250.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
shit.
well, you're not that cool.
Somebody said you make too much.
No. So, like, if you're married and there's two of you, you both get a check. It's hands down. Everybody got it.
Yeah, everyone did.
Everybody
It
got
came into my account this morning. I had no idea.
I'm expecting a check in the mail because I never use a direct deposit.
Oh.
I don't want to give Uncle Sam or Uncle New Mexico or whoever my bank digits, even though they already have it, and the CIA is probably listening to our podcast, and NSA is tracking everything we say about Trump and Biden and Ukraine and oil.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
We're all getting
Hold
arrested.
on.
You're
Let's,
getting arrested
let's go back
more.
to Ukraine real fast. It's day 83 of the invasion. Remember when it first started? Like,
Yes.
man, Ukraine's being overrun. They need guns and everything. And they're put in the Kharkiv region of Ukraine. They've pushed the Russians all the way back to the border.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Like,
try this.
that's really delicious. That's
I'm gonna try
it's
it.
the Gallela Bocadillo
It's
candy.
calling my
Oh, it's
name.
so amazing. It's like a candied fruit.
I am a citizen of New Mexico, and why the hell didn't receive my $500?
Do you
Not
do
everyone
direct
got it
deposit with your
today.
taxes from New Mexico, or do they send you a check?
Yes.
You
Not
might be getting
everyone
a check
got
in
it
the mail.
today, though, but it's still happening.
What's your last name? Minato? You're in the M's. It could be tomorrow. Or you could be getting in the mail. Isn't that delicious? Like, who would have thought these Colombians knew how to make such delicious candies?
But that is Guayaba. That's Miami. That's like from Miami.
This is freaking
That's
good.
from South
I
America.
didn't know that Colombia had the same
So,
fruit.
I
as Miami.
took a bunch of gifts for my friends down there. My bag was all heavy. Got a little mad. I was having to lug my
What
bag
did you
around.
bring? Green chilies?
No, I brought about 20 pounds of candy
From the U.S.
from Mexico.
Oh, from Mexico.
This
Oh,
is
from South
so
America.
flipping good.
Because when I went
Oh, to the
when
US,
when I
back
went to
here.
work, I gave everybody like handfuls of candy, all sorts of different candies.
Okay, good.
You know what I mean? I was
I'm
like,
glad you didn't give these ones away. These ones are
no,
delicious.
those are I say for me. Those are delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna be different. I took like a bunch of American candy down there too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so they're like, oh, we love American candy, like Hershey's, Reese's, and all that. I was on the phone with you, and I was like, what should I get? And then I got
Candy.
I got a bunch of candy, and I took it down there, and they're excited, which you could buy at the airport, but not so
You know,
much. No,
Did you like
Candy's
the
a nice-
Halloween
it's a-
version of like the bag
I took
with-
Peeps. I saved a bunch of Peeps.
Oh, from Easter.
Easter, I saved a bunch of Peeps.
Did they know what that was?
No, they never seen Peeps. They loved them. Then I took a couple of cartons of those cascarones. So in the Hispanic culture, cascaron is a boiled egg. Or not even a boiled egg. It's like where you take the yolk out
Hard-boiled?
and you fill it with
Yeah,
confetti
right.
and you smash it on somebody's head.
Oh yeah.
And so I bought a couple of packages of those at the store.
It's
So
all
I had,
Easter stuff.
yeah, I took some like what do you call it? St. Patty's Day stuff. They sell like the dollar shades and stuff like that. And so I took stuff like that. They're like, this is amazing. And they're like, wait, why do you guys celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Is it like a major, like, are you guys religious? Is it like the saints? And like, no, people just like to drink.
People just like to drink.
And so I was trying to.
That's
took,
about right.
I took one thing regarding Cinco de Mayo. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, so what's the Cinco de Mayo thing? That another American holiday? I go, no, it's a Mexican holiday. I was like, oh, so they're like, this is Colombia. So they're like, oh, so the Mexicans, they have a major holiday on the Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May, right? I was like, no, it's just America. And they're like, well, it's a Mexican holiday. I go, no, it's a significant event in Mexican history. They're like, well, so why do Americans celebrate it?
Because
We like to drink.
Because
we
we're
like
a
to
melting
drink.
pot.
So
We like to drink.
We celebrate
We celebrate
an Irish
everything.
festival
So-
on this like the 17th.
We celebrate
Yeah.
everything. We celebrate
Cinco de Mayo.
birthdays.
So the Cinco de Mayo, and again,
coming back home.
to remind people what it was, it's the first Battle of Puebla. It's a little town east of Mexico City. The
Right.
French had to get to Mexico City. The Mexicans, which were led by a general from Texas. It was a Texas general that was leading the Mexican army, defeated the French. Like, look at that. Even the Texans, they do everything so well. They even lead the Mexicans better than.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
It's so weird. Sorry.
And there was 2 battles of Puebla. They won the first one. They lost the second one.
I know, but
forget the
everyone
second
remembers the
Let's
first one.
Let's celebrate the first one. The Mexicans don't even care about the first one. They celebrate the
Listen,
independence in September.
they had a big win. Let's celebrate the big wins.
Is that the El Grito?
No,
Puebla?
that's the September one. Grito, the cry for independence.
That's a cry for independence.
That's
September what? 18th?
So,
Yeah,
so
16 de
Cinco de
septiembre.
Mayo, let's put it in context. Cinco de Mayo is like if the British celebrated the Battle of Bunker Hill. So, like, say the Battle of Bunker Hill where we beat them,
Yeah.
Or we probably didn't beat them, but we gave them a wallop.
Okay.
Say the British celebrated the Battle of Bunker Hill, yes.
Wait, you lost.
Yeah,
But you're
it's like
celebrating
we
it.
don't celebrate it, but they're celebrating it. Like, let's go get fucked up, everybody. That's what Cinco de Mayo is with Mexico.
Or the British celebrating the 4th of July.
Yeah. Let's just celebrate the Battle of Waterloo.
You know, okay, so here's the confusing part. So in terms of a timeline, an American general from Texas, which probably he thought he was from the country of Texas, fought alongside the Mexican revolutionaries.
Because that was before the Alamo.
This
Yes.
is before
No.
the
Oh,
the
sorry.
battle between
Whoa, Jeanette, don't be easy.
Mexico
That
and
was
the
easy.
U.S.
No. I
That
take
was
it back.
easy.
No.
Was this-
Mexican independence, then the Mexican-American War,
So the
and then the
Mexican
French.
independence
The
from the-
French invaded Mexico to recoup money that Mexico owed everybody, and they eventually they take Mexico City and they installed the Emperor Maximiliano. So this is after the Alamo, after Texas independence. So complicated.
Yeah.
The moral, of
for the United States independence, you had Benjamin Franklin as ambassador to France,
Right.
to help get arms against the British.
right?
And so, was Mexico involved with any of that? That was 1776,
That was still Spanish. That was still
1770.
Spanish.
And
It was
this
still Spain.
And the Mexican grito was what year? I
So,
wonder.
the 16 de septiembre.
What year would that have been?
I'm gonna
You're
Google.
a fact checker.
I'm the fact
You're the
checker.
fact checker.
Wait a
Mexican timeline. I'm gonna look up the Mexican timeline.
Mexican timeline.
The Mexican timeline.
So I'm curious if they're talking about all these things, asking questions about that, but do they have a different view on the world in Colombia?
It seems like, okay, I mean, I'm not saying it's simplistic or anything like that. We're concerned about the whole world, right? We talk about Ukraine. We talk about Taiwan.
Warming.
I was down there and people were
Plastics.
just busy, just hustling, having a good time, talking, laughing. It's like the whole outside world just melted away. It's like the United States in the 70s and 80s before we became globalized, right? So that's what it felt like.
It just seems like a really laid back way of being because we stress about everything. I know I do. I stress
Jeanette-
about all kinds of
Jeanette is the
stuff.
most non-stressed person I met in my entire life. Don't let her fool you. I'm so stressed about.
I do. I stress about all kinds of stuff.
Have a
I'm.
manifesto napkin?
You know what?
I didn't bring it.
But I
have our
I
manifesto
did give
napkin.
Jeanette a goal. My goal for Jeanette was her worldly trip.
My what?
Your worldly trip.
My
Yes,
worldly
she
trip.
does have that written down.
Oh,
She wants to work in the Netherlands.
So, I think
either Germany.
I think this is good though.
Amsterdam.
This is a good
Amsterdam would be
segue
fun.
because we talk about people, we
It's
talk about
walkability.
leadership, we talk about their life, taking control of your life, and all that good stuff, right? So this would be a good segue to that, Jeanette. What are you trying to do here? Like what's going on? Jeanette, talk to us. People, America knows they're concerned about you. They know about your gallivanting ways.
my gallivanting.
They know about you and they're concerned for you and they want to know, what is this manifesto, Jeanette? What are you trying to accomplish? What's going on?
Well, the manifesto
Wait,
is. Is that your
That's the
phone?
website. That's the website. I just heard you.
I thought you were getting a call. I was like,
I'm still looking up the Mexican timeline, and there's like little Spanish music playing.
I'm like, dude, you're like obsessed now. It's like your ringtones.
I'm sorry. Don't let us take away from your gallivanting story, Jeanette. What's going on? Talk to us about the manifesto. What's the purpose? Where are we going?
The manifesto is a combination of things that Dario and I both. It's kind of like a rules to life.
Okay, I like it. Go on.
I didn't bring the manifesto.
Well, sum it up. Give us a sum up. Because, somebody could be listening to this and you can motivate somebody to do their own manifesto.
Let me just bring up a few things. Not everything. Not everything needs to be said.
Well, there are a few things that we have said that were
leave the scandalous part out.
Joking about this, the futility in trying to change a system that is broken.
So, and I know what you're talking about. So this happens to a lot of us. We get employed, right? And we get very vested in terms of time. We put in our time with the company,
right?
And we want to see it and go in a different way. But like, say the company you work for is a monster of a company. There's some big companies, right?
Right.
There comes to a point when you have to realize, can you make a change in it? Or is it too big of a machine? You know what I mean? If it's that big of a machine, you're just a small little component.
They say, be the change you want to see in others.
Right.
Be the change that instead of just throwing up your hands and say, "Oh, screw this! This is terrible." Well, what would make it better, or what would what would have to happen to make it better, and be that change, be that component that might make it better.
I think bottom line, it was about just taking control of your life. Ultimately, that manifesto is just about taking control of your life and living the life that you want to lead without...
Focus on what you can change.
And focus on the things that make you happy.
Right. And do more of what makes you happy instead of pursuing happiness.
Right. And it's funny because we get jobs that... Okay, so I have a friend. She was in the Gulf War. The initial, initial build-up. I went to college with her. We played rugby, and really cool chick, right?
I think Jeanette's trying to tie herself up to something.
Whoa, Jeanette! That's metaphor for her getting tied down.
Tied down or tied up.
So it was funny because she went to school after the whole Iraq thing, but she was there part of the initial
GI Bill,
right? But she was a part of the whole initial thing.
Yeah.
The initial build-up, the initial
I feel bad for her because then she went back to school.
Yeah.
And after seeing what she saw and probably managing what she managed and and having had that just intense
life experience, she's because we were sitting down one day in somebody's backyard just drinking, and I said, "Tell me about your experience," and she says, "Well, it's kind of sad." I go, "What's that?" She goes, "When you were in the military, not just the military, when you were in Iraq and it was the buildup and you knew it was coming, you knew you were a part of something big. Mm-hmm. And when it's over, mm-hmm. it leaves a hole in you because, like I said, you were a part of it. Yeah. You knew that you guys were going to invade Iraq. You knew you were going to go after Hussein. You knew there was going to be fighting. It was just such a big buildup, and you were a part of it. You were living through it."
Have you ever seen a resume from a vet?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
I have seen, I've interviewed and had resumes and the responsibility, millions of dollars of budget
18, 19, 20-year-olds have?
Yes, their kids being, maybe they're
how much does the Abrams tank cost? How many billions? 15, 20,
in charge of supply.
$15, $20 billion tank. And it's an 18-year-old kid in charge driving it. And it's a machine that can bring down a building. A city.
That's crazy.
Not that's just the operational component, but then there's this, the planning, the strategic.
I was working at Starbucks.
Yeah.
in my 20s. And a friend of one of the guys I worked with, his friend came back, and he was in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like 19. And he still had the face of a baby. Like, he had the face of a baby. Yeah. Nicest guy you'd ever meet. And I've kept up with him on Facebook. Yeah. He got married. Great guy. Yeah. But he's talking about, like, coming back to New Mexico. And, like, he's just like, man, you know, like, I was driving all over the desert in Afghanistan with the CIA. And I had briefcases with millions of dollars, yes. And it was my job to go sit down with the local chieftain.
It all went to the Taliban,
right?
Oh my god!
But he was a kid,
yeah.
And the federal government was giving him money to make deals with the local warlords.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and now he's just a student at the local college, you know, sitting at Starbucks with probably like some sort of
not
part-time
even
job.
Old enough to order a beer,
right?
How sad. How anticlimactic.
And so, but that was part of the deal with the Iraq War when people were starting to protest it, like sending kids, sending 18-year-old kids to go die and fight.
Our greatest generation.
Yeah.
Think about our grandparents.
Okay, I'm a history
on the beach of Normandy.
Okay, so let's talk about the beach of Normandy. All right. By the time we went on the beach of Normandy, and some people may know this, some may not. At that point, we'd already invaded Africa. We'd already gone to northern Africa, right? And who was in northern Africa? Big red one, Patton, right? Yeah. And that's where the United States Army kind of split their hairs out to kind of get our shit into gear. The British were already there. The Russians were already fighting, and we invade the
British went into Sicily,
right? But they were in North Africa with us.
They were fighting against Rommel.
Yeah, so we kind of split
and
our
the
hairs.
Australians, and
So time goes by. Tunisia. There's another one there. A lot of famous battles in Africa, to Sicily, to Italy. Then we have Normandy. So you have guys in Big Red 1, the Division 1, right?
Okay.
And that had fought a year and a half already. You know, recruits, new people, experience, and all that. So time comes for the invasion of Normandy. Who invades in Normandy? Well, all the nations does. Who do we send to the beach? Who do the United States send to the beach in Normandy?
The least experienced
the
ones.
29th Division of the United States Army. And I believe I'm saying it right, the 29th Division. And it was a freshly developed division, the least amount of experience, the youngest soldiers. They didn't send the guys that knew what they were going against. They sent the kids.
But they were dying as they were like
as they were running off the landing craft.
Well, but they were dying. It's actually interesting. My mom cared for a client who was actually there, and he was a young man at the time, and he says that he saw a lot of his friends die.
Yeah.
Because their backpacks were so heavy they drowned.
Right.
And he had it. He saw that happening, so he took off his backpack.
Uh-huh.
And of course, so he wouldn't drown, but
the point of it was
they were so inexperienced.
The landing boats were too far away from shore.
They were too far.
But the point of it was, though, they
were drowning.
Get the young kids that were gun ho. We're gonna go fight Hitler. They're gun ho. They hadn't seen a lot of the war. They've heard the stories, but they didn't have the experience. All they knew was there were young kids. Their order was to go invade.
What a massacre!
And you weren't going to lose a lot of that experience. And they had the highest casualties on Normandy.
Really?
How sad. I mean, in the bigger picture thing, they did it for a reason.
Yeah.
But how crazy, like the young ones.
I just saw a good movie that maybe I told you about this. It was about the British.
Freaking
double.
British.
Yeah, it was their counterintelligence. They had to invade at some point, and Churchill said, "Well, everybody knows that we have to invade in Sicily."
It's on Netflix.
Mincemeat. Yeah, Operation Mincemeat. It's
based off like
movie.
True facts.
Yes,
true something.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch.
You know what's the best part about that movie? I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but when you watch the end credits, when I love movies that are based on facts.
Yeah,
and at the end they say, John Jones
continued on in his life.
Yeah.
It passed away in 1995.
It's like Band of Brothers. They had all the people's names or pictures.
Yeah, and it tells them the story. It's like that he kept the secret, until recently, or recent files were opened in the 2010 and whatever. So I love it when they tell you the backstory to it.
I was watching a movie last night with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher about the Coast Guard.
Oh, that was good.
Oh,
The Guardian.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
And is this it right here? I think.
like that movie.
Yeah, 2006. And I hadn't seen it in a long time, but I was just, 2 a.m, can't go to sleep. Like, what am I going to watch? And it's one of the
No,
free
watch The
movies.
Guardian.
He was done with his porn.
It was like OnlyFans or The Guardian.
Oh my
OnlyFans or The Guardian. So I started watching it, and it's the same thing. I don't know if it's based on a true story, but they talked about, they're saying like it's loosely based on an actual U.S. Coast Guard aviation mishap in Alaska. And then at the end of it, they show like the old pictures of the old Coast Guarders.
Oh.
And it's kind of cool. You see like all those old pictures of how they used to have those cork life vests and all that. Yeah, and it's kind of cool.
What was cool about that, what I remember from that movie, was the training process.
Pre-Demi Ashton Kutcher?
The selection process of the candidates.
Yeah.
So you'd see the people that you thought would do really well, and the big, muscular, buff guys. They were the ones that couldn't swim or tread water.
It was funny because Kevin Costner in the scene, he says, "It's simple physics, everyone. Muscle sinks."
And it was the guy that the
one,
toughest dude that,
and he was like the top rated one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet the tiny, not the tiny, but the skinny swimmer.
Right.
Was, able to move it along.
Well, it's funny because yesterday evening, I went to this MMA class, right?
That was your first day yesterday.
First day back. And I told before I left Colombia, I told myself, like, I want to start going back and start grappling and jiu-jitsu.
When was the last time you had gone?
It's been a couple of months because I had a lot of projects at work and I've been burning both ends of the candle, right?
Well, you had some PT.
Yeah, I had all that PT done and all that in Albuquerque. Yeah. So it's been a minute. But before I left, I said, I want to do this. So I made a mental note and, hey, I'm gonna go do this.
So wait a minute. What you did in order to reach your goal was your strategy was to set a date.
I did. I set a firm date when I came back from Colombia, which was last week. And I said, I was thinking in my mind, like, do I go Monday or do I go Wednesday? I was like, and I told myself, I'm going to go Wednesday. And so I did. I went out there on Wednesday.
So that's what we have to do, Jeanette.
I think we have to set firm dates.
A firm date for happy hour. Come hell or high water. On Tuesday, we'll do happy hour.
I love it because it's like Taco Tuesday. Oh, no, Thirsty Thursdays.
Thirsty Thursday.
Midori Mondays.
Where did Taco Tuesday come
Freaky
from?
Friday.
Taco Tuesday. Freaky
What
Friday.
is it?
I have to start. I have to start the Taco Tuesday controversy. Okay, because you go to some places and you ask for a taco and they give you a burrito, and you ask for a burrito and they give you a taco.
That's Taco Bell.
And then you go to Mexico and you get all sorts of different variations of tacos. Some people fry them. Some people give you just a tortilla slapped with this or that. Like when did the concept of Taco Tuesday, did Jesus rise on the third day and said, let there be tacos?
It seems like it's a marketing strategy to sell tacos.
Yeah, and when did ever, what blasphemy is this hard-shelled taco in a package made by...
Yeah. By freaking Old El
Paso.
Old El Paso.
What does Old El Paso know about tacos?
Well, I'm disappointed because El Paso, you can buy some good tacos out there.
Can you really?
I don't know.
In Minnesota, when we had tacos, it was that crispy tortilla shell that was in a and that looked like a letter holder. Yeah. And you'd it would have the meat and everything in it, and you'd crunch into it, and everything would fall apart. It wasn't until I left Minnesota that I realized that tacos, there's soft tortillas.
Or
Taco Bell.
Or I like the way my dad makes the tacos. Like he'll put like a meat filling with, it's like Mexico, it's like meat's too expensive, so they supplement part of it with potato.
Tofu.
And then they like deep fry the whole damn thing. like the filling, and it's
like
all,
a chimichanga
That's a flauta.
taco.
That's a flauta.
Like
and
a,
then they open it and they put cabbage with like hot salsa. Oh, it's so flipping good.
all right, quickly.
All right.
Where was the best place you've had a taco? Jeanette, go. Best taco you've ever had in your entire life.
Best taco?
Best taco. Quick.
I can't remember.
America wants to know.
Dude, I don't know.
Dario, best taco you had in your entire life.
I can't think.
Flamingo down in Columbus, south of Columbus.
Really?
The pink flamingo.
Really?
Columbus,
Right down in
New Mexico.
Deming. Yeah,
On the
south
border.
of Deming.
Columbus.
The pink store.
The
The
Pink
Pink
Store.
Store.
Pink store.
And Palomas, Mexico.
They have the best
have
chile
good
relleno
tacos?
with fish taco.
So for all of the other red-blooded Americans,
Amazing.
there's a country called Mexico south of the United States, and if you cross so Pancho Villa invaded Columbus, New Mexico, which prompted Blackjack Pershing to invade, to be sent to go invade Mexico. There from Columbus across is Palomas, which all the old people go and buy, their pharmaceutical medications, and
go to
there's a
the dentist.
pink store, a pink building
A pink building.
called the Pink Store.
with the
Has
restaurant.
With the
everything,
restaurant.
But it has a lot of cool
You
stuff in there.
can you can buy like Indian artifacts. You can buy pharmaceuticals. You can get a beer. I mean, you can probably get your
tacos.
tires
Oh,
changed.
and they hand you a margarita when you walk into the
yes,
store.
oh, it's wonderful.
And the margaritas are to die for.
It's like if there's a symbol of Mexico, it would be the Pink Store.
I haven't
best
been
Mexican
there in.
food I've
I
ever
haven't
had
been
is the
there in
Pink Store.
years.
I'm calling road trip to the
Road
Pink
trip?
Store,
Road trip.
Road trip
Road
to
trip.
the Pink Store.
Let's take
Yes.
the RV.
dude. And we don't want to drive the RV across.
No.
Park it in Columbus?
Park
In
it
Columbus.
On Columbus. We walk
Dude,
across.
I'm sold.
It's
sold.
It's 50
Tell
feet
me
away.
when. Tell me when. I love
Columbus
it.
woman.
And then we stay at the Oxxo and we buy whatever we want on the way back.
Every convenience store in Mexico is named the Oxxo.
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 Tell me when I'm down. I'm down for some
We're
good
gonna do
tacos.
it. Road trip, Mexico,
Road
Palomas.
trip and a
Amer-
good margarita.
America, Mexican road trip, Palomas, Mexico, coming soon. Desert Dash Rally.
Rally.
The best tacos in Mexico. Well, for me, it was on the pier in Ventura, California. The best fish tacos ever. They're amazing. There's a pier there in Ventura, the only pier there. Well, there's a lot of piers in California, but this one is in Ventura.
Yeah.
Amazing fish tacos.
You know,
Amazing.
It's a different recipe.
Different recipe.
Different. I don't know what
Soft,
they soak.
they're
this-
soft. They're soft. They're soft tortillas. They're not fried.
Oh my god! And I've tried every place I go. I've tried to get another chile relleno, and it's not the same. It's not. I cannot find the same chile relleno. I cannot
It's
find the same fish
chili.
taco.
They use
Yeah.
this different chili, and then you go to Arizona and you get Mexican food there. It's different. You go to southern New Mexico and you get Mexican food, and it's different. You go to northern New Mexico, it's different Mexican food.
It is.
Wherever you go, Mexican food is different. It's like everybody just has like a different idea of what Mexican is.
but I think for New Mexico, though, I think that Mexican food is different because it's influenced by different.
Hatch.
No, by different parts. Because we're so here in the South, New Mexico, we're influenced by Mexico, so everything's a little bit more.
Well, I mean, our state is named New Mexico.
But in the North, you have a lot of the tribes, a lot of the Indians. You have a lot of.
There's Indians down here.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
The Apaches used to
It's
come
not
all
the
through
same.
here.
It's not the same.
Jeanette, you're being racist.
No, I grew up in Colorado. I grew
Oh,
up in,
so you come from white Mexico. You have no room to
so
talk.
no, I mean there's a lot of like Taos, New Mexico. You
and
go
we're
out
not
there.
even we're not
There's
even
the
talking like
there's the Indians
white
out there. There's the
Spanish
little Pueblo.
Mexican. We're just talking about white Mexico up in Colorado. Do they even have chilies up there? They try to claim the best chili. The Colorado green chili tried to claim they were the best, better than Hatch, and they lost.
But their Mexican food is different. Like an Indian taco is like a freaking puffy tortilla, but it's like has all the stuff of the taco.
I just heard some people unsubscribing from the program right now.
Damn it! I'm gonna drink more Vizzy.
You didn't tell us what you're drinking, by the way. We didn't go over what you're drinking. What were you drinking tonight,
We're
Jeanette?
drinking Vizzy.
I thought you were
hard-
getting Trulies.
No. Well, okay. So I found a Truly vodka,
Uh-huh.
not Truly drinks, but a Truly actual vodka.
The natural vodka.
But I was a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. It was a cheap bottle.
Like plastic. It's like when you buy vodka, the Albertsons brand vodka. It's like a plastic bottle and tastes the vodka.
It
tastes
made me
like plastic.
worried. It made me worried. It was like
It still
$11.
has potato peel in it.
made me worry.
Has something in it.
I don't know.
Cucumber
Like
slices.
I don't know. I was thinking, oh, that looks like a headache waiting to happen. But I still bought it. We'll check it
You're
out.
adventurous. You live dangerously.
I just don't like the headache.
You're a wuss.
I just need to work tomorrow.
Look, all I can say is
Wait, tomorrow is
Friday.
It's still Friday. I mean, we still have to work.
We have to work. We're responsible individuals. You have people counting on us.
But I think you had a great point about setting a date for success. I mean, we really have to start dating, like setting more dates for happy hour.
But it's true in everything you do. It's true in work. It's true in your relationship. You know when they say you want to quit smoke, when you want to quit smoking cold turkey, you set a date and you do it.
But I think in our manifesto, in order so that we don't become disappointed nor disappoint anybody else, we learn to lower expectations.
Do you
and
need
never commit to anybody?
Oh.
Do you need to lower expectations?
That way, nothing.
Well, that's why. No, so you could always win. Wait, I thought this show was
We
supposed
wanna
to be about.
we want to live in the winner's circle.
Live in the winner's circle.
Do you
set
wanna-
the bar low?
Everybody
Listen, I've known
gets a
Jeanette.
participation medal.
I've known Jeanette for a long time, and Jeanette was known as a man maker because she had expectations, and there was no man that she couldn't handle, and if he didn't meet her quality level of corn-fed, manly Americanhoodness, she wasn't about it. What
Right.
changed?
I didn't realize. First off, man maker. I love it. Someone's actually gonna believe it. But
They
okay.
would come up to her afterwards and say, "Sorry, Jenny.
Thanks.
Life is a box of chocolates."
I'm expecting some young
No.
teenager
It's
that's
okay,
like
Ferris.
the
Or
19-year-old,
not Ferris.
I know.
20-year-old virgin being like, "Are you Jeanette? Are you the one that can?"
Are you the one?
Are you the one?
Are you the
son of
one?
a-
I am the Matrix.
I heard that you will make a man out of me. I'm like, no.
He's just gonna come up to you like tear your shirt
No.
open. Take me, I am yours, woman.
And I wouldn't know what to do. I would think about it for sure.
You'd be like, okay,
I'd be like,
okay,
wow.
you can start by
Wow.
cleaning the bathroom first.
Like, wow.
You have to earn this.
Wax on, wax off.
Have him do chores ahead. That's a really good idea.
Oh my
That's a really
gosh.
good idea.
Okay,
Damn it.
Pay your dues.
so I've got to share something with you guys. This week, I've been watching like a lot of stuff on conspiracy theories. I've been going down the rabbit hole.
No. Really? You're going
I've
down
been going down there.
You're going down that rabbit hole?
Because you know what's going on this week is the
Conspiracy?
Congress is having the UFO debates, or like the UFO.
They released a bunch of stuff.
Right, but Congress was having like committee on UFO information. So I started going down that rabbit hole. I did find out the hummus is good, right? Dario and the hummus.
There
Dario
we
for the
go.
win. Hummus.
Hummus.
Dario, you brought the hummus and you're not even eating it.
So
Oh, I ate some.
Did you?
So
Oh.
I've got two conspiracy theories, cartoon conspiracy theories for you guys.
Oh, wait, before you do that,
Huh?
have you been approached on Instagram by the Illuminati?
Oh, all the time.
Illuminati.
Illuminati. They want to take over the world. And they're going to use
So
us.
do you want to join them?
No.
They promise you fame and riches.
Yeah. I
You have
thought that
to
was
sell your soul.
Scientology.
No, the Illuminati.
Not the Scientology.
So
Not the
I'm sure
Scientology.
there's like a fee of
There's a
some
bunch
money.
of people that are that are like YouTube stars, namely, Dr. Berg, and
Katy Perry.
Grant Cardone, the financial.
Grant Cardone.
They're all. I heard that they were all like part of. What is it? The people in Florida.
I haven't heard that Grant Cardone's a part of the Illuminati.
Not Illuminati.
Or
the
Gary
other-
Vee.
No, the other one.
The Cubans.
No, they're the one that they're based out of Clearwater, Florida.
Disney World.
Tom Cruise.
You're talking about
Scientology.
the Scientology.
Yeah, Scientology.
No, don't say that. I would
Yeah.
be disappointed if Gary Vee was a Scientologist.
I don't know about Gary Vee.
Grant Cardone's a Scientologist?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you know who Dr. Berg is?
No. Who's Dr. Berg?
He's like a health food nut and everything else. Apparently, there's some guy that claims to be his son that is debunking what type of father he was and this, that, the other. Don't trust him. Don't
I
buy his vegetables.
Wait, before we go down that rabbit hole, I kind of want to know what theories, what
Two
are you
theories,
starting
Mark.
to believe? Name two top that you're starting to kind of pursue and look
wow.
into.
Grant Cardone explained that he was curious about what Scientology could do for him when he spoke about the success he's had since joining. I'm shocked.
Me too.
Dude,
I'm
this
shocked.
hummus is delicious.
I'm
Okay.
glad you like it.
Cartoon conspiracy theory time.
Cartoon
Conspiracy theory.
What does
Peter
cartoon-
Pan. Peter Pan. I don't know if you guys heard about Peter Pan cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
He was
Oh,
molested.
yeah.
What, what happened? Was he molested?
No.
He seemed like he might have been.
So in
Is he
in Peter Pan, the Peter Pan movies we watch,
Yeah.
the bad guy's the pirate.
Yeah.
But what if the bad guy wasn't the pirate? Peter Pan was this older kid, and he's going out and abducting children, taking them away from their families, taking them to this never land where there's no parental oversight. And the pirate, Captain
Never
Hook,
grows up.
He never grows up.
Never accepts responsibility.
Never accepts responsibility, but he's abducting children from their families. And you have Captain Hook. Captain Hook's not going after all the other children. What if he's only fighting Peter Pan because Peter Pan is abducting children?
Wow. I thought you were going to...
But he runs out of time. Tick
runs out of
tock,
time.
tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Well, it's kind of like the gross thing I've heard about Toy Story. About... It was actually the neighbor's kids because they're young and they, like... I don't know. Anyway, so one of them tells me on the way to school, you know, Jeanette, you know, in Toy Story...
That's
when
right.
the-
Stop right there. If
God.
if my kids ever say, if I ever hear kids say, Jeanette, I right there I say, stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hear it. Jeanette.
Did you know?
know.
Did you know?
Well,
that,
Can I tell
no,
you
no,
one
no,
thing?
let me tell you.
Right away I say no.
This is gross.
Don't tell
No,
me
no,
one
no,
So
thing.
the
let me-
fact
no,
that
this is
Jeanette-
Can I tell you
gross. Let me tell
something? No.
I need to tell
No.
you. I
The
have to
fact
tell
that
you.
Jeanette's
Stop right
like
there.
I'm
the
gonna
fact
tell
that
you.
Jeanette's like a grown woman and she's going to school with a little kid.
Jeanette.
I want to tell you
How
because I thought it was. I have
Miss-
to
Miss
tell you.
Jeanette.
Miss Jeanette.
Miss Jeanette.
So no. In Toy Story, when one of the toys dies, only the toys know that the toy is dead, but the humans don't know. So they're playing with dead toys. So in essence, they're playing with dead carcasses. This is what she told me. I'm like, that is morbid.
It is. They
That is a
don't
little
even
more.
notice until it begins to smell.
Yeah.
Like what? For plastic.
That's kinda
I mean,
curious.
What? I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of like, well, you're right. Yeah, that really
Well,
does suck.
Scooby Doo.
Was it?
That's at the second.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
What if Scooby Doo? They're going around like solving all these crimes and all that, right?
They're all on LSD.
But what if Scooby Doo is actually a bunch of draft dodgers, and they're living in their van, traveling across country because they're draft dodgers, and that's during like a recession. So you have people that are losing their homes to large banks and corporations. So they're trying to set up like, oh, my property's haunted. And so you have these bunch of draft dodgers going around solving these hauntings of people that are trying to not lose their homes to the banks during the recession.
Well,
I
they're
think
just
that's
jerks.
a little bit more out there.
It is out there. I mean, we all know that they were high. I mean, come on.
Guys,
Is
guys.
there anything more that we need to believe about Scooby Doo and his
Yeah.
friends?
I think that you have more to go off of with the Peter Pan one, because Peterson, what's his name?
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He has a whole lecture about Peter Pan.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I think I need to listen to that.
Look up.
Well, here, I'm the fact checker. Okay. Damn it. Jordan Peterson
So
and Peter Pan lecture.
Jordan Peterson is interesting because Jordan Peterson,
In so many ways.
a lot of different ways, but his initially he started because he says the government has no right to legislate language.
Right.
He said the Canadian government cannot force us to use language. It's freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and it's a God-given right, and no government has the right to legislate language. And then that's where he kind of started this whole career that he's gone down, and but it's kind of genius what he said, and I really appreciate what he says. Remember we were talking about it. Are you going to be oh, what is it? A warrior or be a? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I missed it. But
Yeah.
But anytime you get to listen to his lectures or his theories, and just it makes you think.
Yeah, he's really it's really interesting what
He wouldn't have existed in another era when we when you didn't record his lectures. That's what really protected him against the left, academia.
Right.
Trying to kick him out.
He started standing up for kind of like common sense.
Yeah.
People talking about the pay gap. He goes, "What pay gap?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm sorry. If you're a female and you want to go collect garbage, go do it. But if you're not going to, don't be upset if a guy makes a lot of money for collecting garbage."
Yeah. Well, women have been, suffered. Well, let's talk about that.
Women's suffrage?
Yeah, and let's talk about how many men have died in wars. How many men have died in battle? How many men have died in industrial accidents?
Bill Burr has a funny piece on that. I love Bill Burr, the comedian.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He says he's talking about the pay gap. Well, my wife or so and so was going on me that about the pay gap and men make more, and he says, "So what's the problem?" She was not fair. Well, you know why it's not fair? Because if we were on the Titanic in the middle of the ocean, for some stupid reason, women and children get to go on the lifeboats first, while us guys are left on the boat to die.
Right. It has to go. It can't go, one way only.
Yeah, I was like...
I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think that there is some things. I mean, I'm all about women's equal rights.
Are you all about?
I am. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain. You talk about women and men in the same field doing the same thing, but then you have women who can't really do their part and yet expect some sort of leniency or something.
I feel like you're going to get hate mail from feminists across the world now.
I'm probably going to get hate mail from feminists because there's a point where you just have to be realistic. If you're going to want to be equal, then expect to do what men do.
Right.
And I agree. I agree to a point, but there is some disparities between pay for the same work.
Well, hold on. When you talk about disparity between the genders, and this is something I think it was Peterson said. He says the biggest gap is created by the top three richest men in the United States. You have Amazon, Bezos. You have Elon Musk, and then you have Microsoft, Bill Gates.
Did you realize that none of them are married?
Bill Gates is divorced now too, right?
So,
well, Bill Gates did pay quite a bit for his divorce,
and he's still one of the richest men.
And he's still pretty.
But if you look at the pay gap, those guys break the curb. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think that if women want to be treated
women
equal,
could join the army now.
Yeah, they can.
Women could go out in the front lines.
This reminds me of the speech you gave me the other day. Jeanette, you're good enough, you're smart enough.
And Doug,
to be on the front lines.
No, I'm constantly reminding me.
You can be like the 29th
Battalion.
No,
this is what he told me. This is what he told me.
You got it wrong.
No,
Jeanette.
He said, Jeanette, did you know women can vote now? Jeanette, did you know that women...
You can own property also?
Property. Did you know women can drive cars? I'm like, no freaking shit.
It's like, I don't know if you're aware of this now, Jeanette, but...
Did you know you can do this? I'm like... In some way, it's kind of messed up, but then I was like, "Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right."
When Jeanette gets on her how bad of a day she's having and how horrible life is like, Jeanette, you are a woman and you can vote now and you can own property and you can even have your own bank account. By golly,
and by God, you can be a leader and be on your period at the same time. It's like really.
There are countries that you cannot even walk out without being accompanied by a male. You cannot drive. You cannot own
and I don't want
property.
to be in those countries.
But do you really think about all the pressure that you don't have to deal with anymore?
What pressure? Like all the pressure.
Think about the pressure-free life. It's like, I don't have to own property
You
no
just
more.
have to
Wow.
find a male family friend to walk behind when you go to the store.
Yeah,
That
that's all you
sucks.
need.
And nobody will
6
see you
feet.
because you're in a burqa
Yeah.
and you
No makeup.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of, think of all the money
In
you're
Saudi
gonna save.
Arabia, you won't be able to drive.
Don't have to pay
Speaking
gas.
of-
You don't have to pay for gas anymore either. A lot more money. So look at we're saving Jeanette
more
money.
money.
Jeanette doesn't have to pay for gas anymore. She doesn't have to pay for makeup anymore. Doesn't
is
have
really
to
messed
can't
up.
own property anymore. We're saving Jeanette a lot of money.
This is so
And you know
messed
what?
up.
You won't even have to buy, spend any money on alcohol because they don't allow it.
All right. That just makes me thirsty right there.
Jeanette was
That just makes me thirsty
Jeanette
right
was
there.
sold on it until you said you can't buy
And then you
alcohol.
said
She's
no
like, I'm done.
alcohol.
No,
Come on.
I'm done.
This is the woman who went out and stocked alcohol during COVID.
Can you imagine?
I thought we were friends.
Welcome
I
to
thought
Saudi
you knew
Arabia.
me. I thought you knew me.
Jeanette already had her airline and ticket until you said no beer.
I was like, forget that.
I was
Cancel
going to
trip.
go see the Palm in Dubai, and no.
I'm not going to Dubai if they don't let me drink.
So I have a colleague that was in the Navy.
Can we pause or can you continue to talk while I go grab some drinks?
Do you have
Dario
to-
looks thirsty too.
Do you have to go to the ladies' room and do lady bits? Do lady
I
stuff?
need a drink.
Let's pause.
Jeanette,
Pause.
go get drinks real quick.
Okay.
I'll continue with Dario. Talk about men stuff. Men stuff, Dario. Ha ha ha. Leather-bound books and cigars and scotch and loose women. Ha 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 ha.
I'm going to join that conversation at some point anyway. And then what's sad about it is I'll contribute to it and
We need to talk
make it
about the
worse.
importance of water navigation.
No. I had a colleague. She was in the Navy, like in the 80s.
In the Navy,
In the Navy.
we go sail the seven seas.
And she went to Saudi Arabia. And she talked.
They didn't let her off the boat. Probably
They did.
They did.
But she was able to hang out with Saudi Arabian people that were kind of on the down low. Like they would hang out with these guys that weren't so strict, and they would go to a certain part of Dubai where there's special clubs.
Were they allowed women in?
They allowed the
Without-
women in, and
So they were
she-
foreign women then. They
Yeah,
allowed.
she said the thing was you have homosexuality is really frowned upon in Saudi Arabia, but you had these guys that were gay, and they would they'd meet them and they're like, oh yeah we're gonna go out tonight and we go to these clubs, and she goes, amazing clubs down there, but it's you have to go down to the other side of the city, across the river, and completely underground clubs and all that, and she said complete insane nightlife, but during the day
You wouldn't see any of that.
you wouldn't see
on the
any
surface,
of that at all.
but they allow it underground,
Yeah.
and they can crack down on it at any moment.
Oh, they will end your life for it if they want to.
Well, yeah, they probably put a bullet in your head.
Yeah. Nuts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've talked to enough people the last couple of months about how crazy, when we were kids, homosexuality was didn't talk about it.
No.
No. But now it's it's a pretty open thing. It's accepted.
Every freaking
Why is it that
TV
Jeanette's
show
getting
has something.
drinks? I feel like a barista.
There you go. Thank you, Jeanette, so much.
A bartender?
Are you ready for the special
The
sound?
beer tender.
The beer tender? I didn't know
God, that sounds good when you do that in the mic. It's
Wasn't
just
that nice?
it's perfect. It's
It gave him the chills. It
I
went
could-
down to his bones.
I could see the commercial with the women and everything.
Stay thirsty.
Brought to you by Dario. But it's funny how our world's changed over the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
It
everything.
is okay.
It's accepting. It's everything. But I think that sometimes it gets to be too promoting it with in schools maybe, or that's big.
Well, I think, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine that has 2 kids in school. And I was making this point of teaching acceptance is one thing. But teaching sexuality at school, that's not the teacher's job. Especially with elementary kids. A teacher's responsibility in elementary, in my opinion, is to teach a kid how to learn. You're setting them up for the future. You're not teaching them to gender dysphoria.
Right.
You're not teaching them to question their sexuality. That shouldn't even, for children in elementary, that shouldn't be a part of the equation. That should be, parents take care of that, whatever. If your kids have questions, but you know what, you want it. It's so important in an elementary to teach kids how to learn. You're setting them up the patterns that they're going to have through middle school, through high school, and to college, and it all starts in elementary. And when you're taking away your time and resources from that to talk about, like, oh, what's your sexuality? And you could be this, and you could be that. You know what? That is a child that hasn't even hit puberty. They're not even questioning it yet.
I think there's it's education about what exists is one thing, but education with an opinion on whether it's right or wrong is probably doesn't belong.
And like an education where they're encouraging you to explore that.
No.
And you
come on.
And here's the thing.
Condoms to
here's the
fifth
thing.
graders. Come on.
You're not even in puberty yet.
Yeah.
Like kids on the playground, the kids on the playground, what are kids on the playground worried about? Playing tetherball. Playing on the monkey bars.
I think kids should just be more worried about having fun and being kids.
I always said what we're always talking about rights of kids and this and kids. You know the only rights kids have? You know what the only rights kids have?
Kids?
To be a kid.
To be a kid.
To
To grow up in a safe environment where they can learn and they're protected.
Yeah.
They're loved.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? Forget everything else. That is a kid's right, and you as a parent, that's your responsibility.
So I was listening to a few podcasts, and they were talking about Malcolm Gladwell, the guy who wrote the book. I don't know. Let's see. I'm the fact checker. I can't even pull up the names, but
it's right now. It's like
these Vizzies are good.
Yeah,
they're good.
They really are.
Those Vizzies are good.
Did you want one? I'm sorry, I didn't even know.
No, I finished my tequila, but now I'm working on this.
Hey, you remember Paul Ford from the fire department?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't name drop on here.
Huh?
Wouldn't name drop on here, but
our
mutual contact in the fire department.
Our mutual contact in the fire department. I think he deserves a lot more credit in terms of on a wider platform with what he's trying to accomplish in Las Cruces with this mobile platform for helping fill the gap where healthcare.
It's interesting because
the fire department.
It's where healthcare and mental health services are not connecting because a lot of what he does is extreme cases, hoarding, people who are just
people that don't qualify for home health. They don't qualify for behavioral, but there's people that don't get help through the systems that are existence, and there's like individuals who need help, and so when they reach out to try to get assistance, who do they call? They call 911.
They call 911.
And when you get a call from 911, and the police don't need to get involved, and the paramedics don't need to go involved, they send the fire department.
And what he brought up was the reason why they're in a unique position is because for the hundreds of years that the fire department has existed, people invariably trust the fire department. Mm-hmm. If you walk up to somebody's home, they don't know who the hell you are. They might even shoot you to get off the property.
Right. That's
but
true.
if you're in a fire department uniform, who wouldn't let the fire department guy come in the house? Right. If it was a cop, I wouldn't let him get him in the house.
Or if it's an ambulance, because there's ambulance or
if it's an ambulance driver, maybe. I know
maybe, but at the same time, if they're like not wanting to go to the hospital because they think they're going to be charged, and you're talking about people who are low income,
then
so a lot of them,
that
makes a lot of sense.
And they think, there's no harm to me. There's no fire here.
Yeah.
But actually, they can connect you with services and things like that.
So I don't know. I don't know why I brought that up.
And it's funny because you know what's funny? Like across America, it's like our country has evolved, but there's like all these opportunities, right? And you find there are people in need. And this is something I always think about because you always hear these people saying like,
we're reaching a tipping point.
We are, but it's funny because you always say people here like in this country, in that country, they're so great and all that, but I don't know in other countries that they allocate resources like we do. So we look at like. There are people that fall through the gaps. There are people that may not qualify for full governmental benefits, but they can't afford assistance on their own. There's like this weird area of gray, but we do have this amazing resource called the fire department that cities are learning to leverage to try to say like, hey, how can we help people?
If you know of any social workers, licensed social workers, he's trying to hire through his LinkedIn. They're trying to build this platform.
Right.
I think that I would love to get him in touch with our senator. I'd love to get him in touch with somebody who can, provide grants and resources, or
absolutely,
just listen, and maybe you apply best practices that he's implementing in Las Cruces for other cities that may need it.
And it's funny because this gentleman you're talking about that's doing this community program, I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember him from like way back in the old days, when we were a kid. Not like kids.
Oh, it's like
but
when
like
you guys were kids.
but like college age kids.
Yeah.
And I remember like, the guy he was then. And it's funny how you get to watch somebody over the course of the life of how they grow into the person they are.
Yeah.
And you look at the person like this individual and you're like, that guy's become an amazing person.
Yeah.
Well, he's an impressive person. I don't know anybody who doesn't think highly of him.
Well, I think that should be on one of your bucket list, your goals there. You should become a highly respected person.
You know what? My
At least
manifesto.
be respectable.
A little bit.
Oh, Jesus.
We can all be respectable, whether or not they respect us.
I think that's a group effort here.
I want to go back to the manifesto.
What about the manifesto?
Okay.
Number one.
If there's a takeaway here, so what was the purpose of the manifesto? What kind of brought this out?
Alcohol.
No, really. Was it like alcohol, or were we having
beers?
Were we drinking and having a moment, like one of those life reflecting moments, and saying like there needs to be a change in my life, or what's going on? What brought about this manifesto?
Beers and change in our life.
Just dealing with frustration
Just
of
frustrated.
wanting to, expecting excellence, pursuing excellence, and realizing that it's on mute.
So
sometimes you can't. You can't.
Is it work related, and you're not happy with your job, where your job prospects are, and so you're like saying like, I want more out of life, but because of my job,
I want to make a more meaningful contribution, and I feel that sometimes it falls on deaf ears, and so our manifesto was in jest, where it was like, well, just lower your expectations. Don't expect so much from other people. If at first you don't succeed, go have a beer.
Okay.
We were being facetious.
Yeah, we were being funny because I just remember that, during the stressful times of COVID, we would be so stressed out. I mean, we would laugh.
I remember
that SNL skit where it was like the dating skit, and then it's like that whole theme comes on, and it's like, lower your expectations or lowered expectations, and it's like a mismatch love connection, but it's mismatched on purpose to lower your expectations so you can succeed. Okay. You can win.
And then it kind of got, some personal emotions of relationships.
So it started off as being facetious, but then it started kind of like evolving into something real.
Yeah.
And so, so what was the takeaway of it then? I mean, I know we're talking about lower expectations, but what was like an overall takeaway from it of like, hey, what can I do with my life, and where can I
Don't rely on others for your happiness.
Okay, boom.
It's about relying on yourself to make the change that's meaningful for you.
Yeah. And be the change that you see in others.
Yeah.
And lower your expectations of others being there for your happiness. It's like even with my kids, I can't expect my happiness to
I think that's really important. Because we always say like us guys, I'm in love with this girl and you make me so happy, but you can't depend on your partner to make you happy.
Honestly, that's a red flag in my mind.
It's a red flag. But you think about that.
You can't no one should say that. No one
It's
should
not.
say
She's
that.
not yours. It's
She's
just
not
your
yours.
turn.
It's just your turn. Whoa.
Well, that did come out
Whoa.
last night.
Whoa.
She's not yours. It's just your turn.
And then the important thing for guys is like pursue excellence, because when you get to the finish line, there's certain people that women won't compete with you. Or won't be along with you during the hard times. They'll just wait for the people that win and cross the finish line and leave the rest behind.
I had some advice from a guy, a friend of mine once. He said, as a guy, you want the best from like a partner. But in order for you to get the best, are you putting the best out there?
Yeah, you gotta be the best version of yourself.
You have to be the best version of yourself.
And then those that come along for the ride.
And you know what, though?
Have them during that time.
If you don't know what the best version of yourself is, that's where you need to start at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Self-awareness. Know
it's
yourself.
like, I'm a badass. I'm awesome.
Good.
Really, at what? Like, what do you help people? What do you do? I mean, like,
Well, you gotta be confident.
Confident, but like, if you're gonna try to be the best version of yourself, what is that? Figure out what that is, and then do it and exceed at it. Be the best version of yourself, because law of attraction, like excellence will attract excellence. So if you want excellent people in your life, be the most excellent person you can be.
There's some truth to, you can't demonstrate weakness because sharks are attracted to blood in the water, and if you show any sort of weakness, forget about it. You got to be. You're just like a company. You don't want to. Companies. Everybody wants to be with a winning company. Wants to be with one that has the greatest strategic plan for growth, great customer service, excellent employees and everything. Nobody wants to work with, I don't know, second rate, poor reputation companies. Nobody, that doesn't attract talent. So you have to. It's just like finding a partner. You want the best in your partner.
Right.
Certainly, they're not going to be looking, in the trash heap for what they want.
Right.
And
and that could just be a starting point too. Because once you start like looking at that, like, how can I make myself better? Then you start looking at other areas of your life, whether it's health, whether it's your friends, whether it's
the whole
work.
Snowball effect. You start with one thing and
the domino effect.
Yeah. Snowball, dominoes.
Potato.
Or you can remember that if it doesn't work out and set her free, but don't expect her to come back without chlamydia.
So leave us with one goal from your manifesto of greatness. One goal.
Setting an
attainable goal.
An attainable goal.
I think it's super important.
Is sometimes that we get caught up wanting to do things for others and work, family, but at the end of the day, like, honestly, you really just have to take care of yourself. Like, just do things that are gonna set you up for success in the future.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
You remember what I always said? You can't help others if you can't help yourself.
That's true.
Yeah. Bottom line. And if you can't take care of yourself, you can't pay your bills, you can't put gas in your vehicle, you can't do anything, how in the hell do you expect to help somebody else?
No, you can't.
Much less have a partner in your life that you're going to take care of. Much less add children to the equation if you never figured out how to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think that setting attainable goals and deadlines, or not deadlines, but like a date of when it needs to be accomplished is like a set goal that sometimes we need.
Mark on Wednesday was going to go resume his MMA training, get his butt kicked by a bunch of kids.
I am
and he
so happy for you. And my Wednesday goal was to have a drink.
And you did it.
And yes, with a friend, and I
Yes.
loved it. And we had good times.
Yes.
Had a whole manifesto, which is on top of my table.
The best man of my wedding
Uh-huh.
to my ex.
Uh-huh.
I could kill him today, but he introduced us and the whole thing. But
That son of a bitch.
he
That's too much
he
tequila.
gave a speech at the yacht club at Lido Bay about preparing for going out to sail around the world.
Uh-huh.
And he said the most important thing is to set a date.
Set the date.
Set the date for your trip, because think about it. The people that were in the audience were people wanting to know what he did to get ready for his trip.
Yeah.
Because all of them many of them there wanted to take their own trip around the world, or maybe to a different place, across the Pacific, whatever it might have been. And he said the most important thing is to set a date. So he set his departure date on October 12th.
Yeah.
Do you know what October 12th is?
Hold on. I'm trying to think here.
I can't.
Not Friday the 13th.
No. Whose birthday is on October 12th? God.
Not yours.
No. Who sailed across the ocean blue?
Galileo.
No.
No,
Christopher
check it
Columbus.
out.
Christopher Columbus. So he picked Christopher Columbus's birthday,
Wow.
or Christopher Columbus Day, as his departure date. And everything he did for the years ahead were months ahead, everything he did. Now, he didn't quite complete everything in time, but that the T-shirts and the party was on December 11th, and the T-shirt said December 12th, and they actually sailed out of port on December 12th.
I thought you were going to tell me a sad story just for a minute there. I was like...
Well, no. And they went... No, he got hit by a truck before on December 11th. No.
Did he? That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, and then sadly he passed away before.
Sadly, the boat sank in a fire. Terrible tragedy.
Terrible tragedy. Didn't quite
No
make
fish
it.
were harmed.
His
No worries.
dog was on the boat. He lost his dog.
I was expecting you
they
to
sailed
say
down.
that.
They sailed down to do test runs down to Mexico, down to Cabo, and then
Cabo
back,
Wabo.
and then they finished the refrigeration and everything else, and then they sailed across to. They didn't make it quite around the world. They
Because
ended
of a
up-
boating accident.
They needed some parts. And,
Wow.
I don't know. In the
My
middle
mind
of
just goes there.
Polynesia,
We should
right into
set
a pirate
date.
somewhere else
We should set our own individual dates of
to
something
get Jeanette
we want
out
to
to Amsterdam.
do. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm going to go visit my sister soon.
Listen.
But you know what? I was thinking just short term. I want to go to the pink store.
Yes,
I want
let's
to have
start a
margaritas.
voyage.
Can we have a voyage
On Columbus
to
Day.
I
Columbus?
can.
God, I just wanted some tacos and a margarita. Can we do that? That sounds
Yes.
amazing.
Let me.
La Niña, la Pinta, la Santa Maria.
La Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I'm gonna get there soon.
I think I just want to take a really nice vacation somewhere.
Why is my computer being weird? Columbus Day. Okay. Columbus Day. Because I have things booked for the next 2 weeks for work on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Is that what we're calling it? We're
October 10th.
Colombia?
That's like 5 months away. We can
What?
do it before.
We can
before
do
then.
it by then. The goal is to do it by then. Like I said, under promise, and then you
That's
don't
Over
have to-
deliver. So
then
you,
don't have to
you
worry
can
about over
succeed.
delivering.
A Saturday. June. We have June. We have July. And we have August.
I want to go to Taos in 2 weeks, so we can't do that.
Okay, well, I've got
Be
2
full
weeks
of
worth of work.
smoke,
Okay.
Huh?
fires.
I feel like this is
In
American.
Taos?
I feel like this is an American Pie moment.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot about the fires out there.
I'm having an American Pie moment.
Okay, so
It's like-
did you buy the warm pie?
No. What is that? What's that guy from American Pie says? He says he makes like a proposition for all the guys that we're gonna work together to get laid. No. We're gonna do something and go to Columbus within like the month.
Okay, the month sounds reasonable
Within a month.
because
That's
it
within 4
makes
weeks.
sense. It's not
in 4
far.
weeks, roughly 4 weeks ish. We're gonna go to Columbus.
Can
if
we
Dario
ditch
doesn't
work?
go on vacation, if Jeanette doesn't get another man, and if I don't fall off the world,
I'll be on my 4th man this year. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, should that be a goal?
what, fourth man?
Make it a 5th.
Is that a goal? I like it.
She's like, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
But
Jeanette
Columbus
just
trip.
needs to
June
get
is the
one.
6th month.
Jeanette just needs to get one.
So we're taking a Columbus trip.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
Bring your passports.
Got my
Oh, yeah,
passport
I got
ready.
it.
I've got stamps in there. And they actually stamp them. That's kind of cool.
Really?
The passport books, they actually stamp them.
When I went to Canada, they didn't do shit.
Yeah, it's Canada, though.
They just let me through. I was all excited. I was all, stamp it. Nothing. It was all
They're like,
anticlimactic.
Hey, mate, you got the stamp. What stamp?
And I went
This
twice
stamp.
to Canada. Nothing. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
They probably tried
it
to
never
just throw a
happened.
donut in there. They're like, hey, the maple donut, that's a good enough of a stamp.
That's where I had poutine. Just
Thank you.
kidding.
Is that where you said
Let's
that's where you had
not
booty?
start. Let's not start.
Did you
with
say that's
that.
where you had booty?
The Canadian dirty words start
Canadian
coming
dirty
out.
words.
For
Poutine.
booty?
Poutine.
You had poutang?
Poutine.
Poutine.
You had poutine?
It's
So-
gravy and French fries.
And with cheese curds.
You had poutang?
So good.
I heard poutang.
I told her it sounds
It
naughty.
sounds dirty, huh?
It
Canadians.
sounds naughty.
The Canadians are dirty.
What was
and-
another thing that was?
What else was it?
The old King Clancy.
That sounds dirty, dude.
Naughty.
That sounds so dirty.
Jeanette had the old Queen Clancy done on her.
Dude, you make up all kinds of stuff, and then when I ask you what it is, I'm always surprised that you have a solid answer. And I'm like,
So does that mean I made it
You
up?
made it up.
I don't know. Like, I just don't know if you lay awake at night thinking of all these things.
I do.
it's
I
so-
lay up till like 2 or 3 in the morning every day. I've got to be at work at 8 o'clock, and I wake up at 7:30, like brushing my teeth, showering, putting my socks on.
Because you're awake at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, he just comes up with a random thing. Like, he'll think of a...
I take like a handful of them. I eat them like Skittles. And I'm like, all right, this is going to kick in any second. And it kicks in like at 6 o'clock.
Oh, my God.
And then at 7:45, I'm like, where am I?
No, that's terrible.
What's going on?
Daddy, you'll come up with a random word and just come up with a random thing and see what sex idea Mark comes up with. I swear, it's made up. He's going to come up with
It's
something
not
solid.
made up. It'll be a fact.
I don't know. I kind of believe it's like a challenge.
Go on.
Go on.
I'm waiting.
I don't know.
Don't hate. I was gonna say don't hate the player, but hate the game.
Virulence.
Virulence.
Oh, what would that be?
Oh, by the way, COVID's getting a little bit bigger. I mean, it's getting a little bit more.
It's going to happen again.
Yeah. We have had some people at work stay at home because their kids got it.
So
Just when I was feeling good.
virulence.
Just when school was out to come out. Get out.
Virulence is a new technique that came out in light of COVID.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's part of the new nomenclature.
New nomenclature.
So when you're looking at having, oral
And you was gonna
relations.
say that.
The guy wants to have oral relations on a woman, but he wants to stay COVID negative, stay
Right.
clean. He needs to, he wants to perform virulence, and he has to, go down on a woman while wearing his N95.
That's
It's true. I mean, can you imagine, like, you're going down on a woman, and then tomorrow you're COVID positive, and you're incubated. You've got to do something about this.
That's
You
right.
gotta, what is it?
And so
Virulence
you're no longer
awareness?
you're no
Vigilance?
longer performing oral sex, but you're performing oral virulence.
Oral
That's it.
virulence.
That's it.
Wow.
I'm a fact
That's-
checker. I can look
That
it up.
sounds solid.
I mean, it has to be. Like, I mean, we've gone through 2 years of COVID. When will it end? But
and it stops with you, fellas. When you go down on your
guys,
leg, you wear your
it
N95.
starts with you guys. You know what?
Starts with you guys.
You know what? I'm
Stop
saying
spreading
we
COVID.
cannot let COVID isolate us. We still have to go out. We still need to mingle, get to know people, get a little freaky. But you know what?
Freaky
Stay
Friday.
safe
Freaky Friday.
and wear your N95s. And when you take a lady home, wear your N95, and she'll enjoy it. She'll appreciate it. She's gonna love it.
Virulence.
Oral virulence.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fact. I can't even make it up.
I mean, a fact checker says it's true. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
All right, I think with that,
Wrap it up, dude.
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, you know.
It's
Any
We
final
went
thoughts?
around the block a little bit.
So, just as a wrap, I went to Colombia. I think Colombia is a beautiful country worth visiting. It's calm now, no craziness, and I think the takeaway is like it's possible to do trips like that, even though it seems like so far away. This day and age, it's possible. Make a manifesto, make those goals, and set a date firm. Be like Jeanette. Be the man maker. Make a date, and you know what? Like elevate your life to new goals. But it starts with you, and you have to set those dates. You have to write it down. You have to write it down,
Oh, be accountable.
Even
to
if
your-
it's the back of a napkin.
even if it's back.
Hey,
of
listen, the
it's front
manifesto-
and back, actually.
The manifesto is brilliant. Honestly,
but
it's
you
going to
have
be a
to
thing.
do it.
I should frame
And
it.
then, fellas, practice safe virulence.
There you go.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Thank you for joining us. Our names are Mike, John, and
Cheryl.
Mary. Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Shaniqua.
We live in Des Moines, Iowa.
I love it. Yeah, you guys have a good night, man. Oh,
I love
Vizzy.
it.
Vizzy and
Vizzy.
Tequila. I love this tequila.
So
It's
if we get
delicious.
a sponsorship from Vizzy,
Vizzy,
That's-
We won't
you-
say
It's
no.
really
We
awesome.
won't say no. We will drink it all the time.
with antioxidant vitamin C
I mean, I
from
kind of-
Areola Superfood.
Whoa, well, hold on. This is too healthy to drink. I don't.
No,
I don't
no.
drink alcohol to get healthy.
Well, it has antioxidants.
Stay healthy, my friend.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy, my friend. Good night, you guys. Bye.
Ay, ay, ay.